Be ready. 5 seconds. Start. Honorable Speaker Sir, I rise today to speak on a matter of crucial national interest and long-term social welfare, the need for a unified pension scheme in our country. As a democracy committed to social justice, we owe it to our citizens, especially our elderly, to ensure a dignified and financially secure life after retirement. The current landscape of pension schemes in India is fragmented, inconsistent, and marked by inequalities between different sectors and categories of workers. A unified system that encompasses the broad spectrum of our workforce is the need of the hour. Whether it is a central government employee, a contractual worker in a municipal corporation, a private school teacher, or an informal laborer in a remote village, every citizen deserves the assurance that their contributions to the nation's growth will be recognized with a fair and reliable pension. At present, our pension architecture includes the National Pension System for new entrants in government service, the Employees Provident Fund for formal private sector employees, the Atal Pension Yojana for the unorganized sector, and multiple state level and sector specific schemes. While these initiatives have their limits, the system as a whole is marked by duplication, exclusion, and administrative complexity. Many citizens are unaware of these schemes they are eligible for, and those who are aware often find the procedures cumbersome, opaque, or unaffordable. This results in a large segment of our population, especially those in informal employment, facing old age without adequate financial protection. Women, differently abled persons, and seasonal laborers are especially vulnerable under the current structure. It is time to move from a patchwork of schemes to a cohesive framework that simplifies access, enhances coverage, and guarantees a basic level of income security for all. The demographic data before us makes this reform even more urgent. India is currently undergoing a demographic transition. Our working age population is at its peak, but in a few decades, we will be home to one of the largest elderly populations in the world. Without a sustainable and inclusive pension model, this shift could strain our economy, increase dependency ratios, and create social unrest. A unified pension scheme must be designed with the future in mind, balancing fiscal prudence with social responsibility. This requires harmonization of existing pension laws, streamlining of regulatory oversight, and the use of modern technology to ensure portability, transparency, and efficiency. Aadhaar-linked accounts, mobile-based tracking, and real-time grievance redressal are not luxuries but necessities in this new framework. Moreover, incentives for voluntary participation by self-employed individuals and gig workers can help bring millions into the formal pension net. We must also ensure that pension benefits are inflation indexed and periodically reviewed to maintain their real value. The current practice of fixed amounts under certain schemes leaves pensioners vulnerable to the rising cost of living. Additionally, family pension norms must be expanded to offer greater protection to the surviving spouses and dependent children of pensioners. A robust unified pension scheme must therefore include not just retirement pensions but also provisions for disability pensions, survivor benefits, and minimum guaranteed payouts. Financial literacy campaigns are equally important to educate workers about their rights, options, and the long term benefits of pension planning. We must build a culture where saving for old age is not an afterthought but a national priority. Every worker must feel that the system values their labor, and every retiree must feel that the country stands by them when they need support the most. Honorable Speaker Sir, pension is not a privilege, it is a right. It is a recognition of the years of hard work, sacrifice, and service that citizens contribute during their productive years. A unified pension scheme is not merely an administrative reform, it is a step towards nation building. It will reduce inequality, promote intergenerational equality, and enhance the resilience of our social fabric. I urge the government to convene a national committee comprising experts, stakeholders, and representatives from all sectors to chart a roadmap for this essential reform. Let us commit ourselves to a vision where every Indian, irrespective of where they work or how much they earn, can retire with peace of mind, dignity, and security. Let this House send a strong and unified message that we care for every citizen, not just during their working years, but through the entirety of their lives. Honorable Speaker Sir, we must also consider the gender dimension in pension access. A large proportion of elderly women, especially widows, do not have access to any form of retirement income. Social pensions for elderly women must be prioritized with simplified application procedures and direct benefits transfers. Gender-sensitive reforms in pension policy will strengthen economic independence and dignity for our women in their twilight years. In conclusion, our commitment to a unified pension scheme must be based on principles of fairness, universality, and long-term sustainability. Let us ensure that no Indian citizen faces insecurity in old age. Let us create a system that reflects our values of compassion, equality, and intergenerational responsibility. The time to act is now.